For nearly 15 years after the world lost Michael Jackson in 2009, one part of his iconic Neverland Ranch stayed completely sealed off. A private garage. Locked, untouched, frozen in time. Not just a place for cars, but a space filled with whispers of his personal world. Imagine that for a second, a room no one entered, no one explored for over a decade. Why keep something like that hidden for so long? What could possibly be inside? This wasn't just about luxury vehicles or celebrity collectibles. The story runs deeper. It's tangled in legal battles, emotional decisions, and a careful effort to protect a legacy that meant everything to millions. When Michael passed, his estate didn't just inherit wealth. It inherited chaos, lawsuits, debts, responsibilities. Every single item he left behind suddenly mattered in ways no one expected. So the garage stayed shut. But here's the question, was it really just about legal issues, or was something else at play? Because there was another reason. Preservation. The people in charge weren't just managing assets, they were guarding history. They knew time could destroy what Michael left behind. So instead of rushing to open the doors, they controlled the environment. Climate systems were installed. Only a few trusted people were allowed inside occasionally. The garage became less of a storage space and more of a vault. Almost like a museum no one could visit. Strange, right? Why treat a garage like something sacred? And maybe that's exactly what it was. Over time, the mystery itself became powerful. Fans speculated. Stories spread. The unknown turned into something almost mythical. The longer it stayed closed, the bigger the question grew. What was inside? And when the day finally came in 2024, the reveal wasn't loud or flashy. No cameras, no crowds, just a quiet gathering of people trusted with his legacy. But why keep it so private, even in the end? Standing there were key figures who had carried the weight of his story for years, along with experts who understood the value of what they were about to see. Even his son, Prince, was present. For him, this wasn't just history. It was personal. It was a glimpse into a side of his father he may have never fully known. And as those heavy doors slowly opened, something unexpected happened. Silence. The kind of silence where everyone holds their breath. What were they about to witness? Inside, the air felt still, almost untouched, like time had paused. One person described it as stepping into a preserved memory. Another said it felt like Michael had just stepped out for a moment. And then reactions, soft gasps, quiet disbelief, even emotion, because what they found wasn't just a collection of cars. It was something far more revealing. But what exactly made it so powerful? Yes, there were luxury vehicles. Sleek, timeless, beautiful. But there are also pieces that showed something softer, something playful. Like a custom-built Peter Pan-themed golf cart, decorated with bright, childlike details. It felt almost magical, and yet completely fitting. After all, Michael was known for holding on to wonder in a way most people lose. But seeing it up close, it hit differently. Why would someone at the peak of fame hold onto something so innocent? The space itself carried a strange mix of emotions. Respect, curiosity, nostalgia. Experts admired the craftsmanship, while family members quietly took it all in. Memories were everywhere. And underneath it all, there was a realization. This garage held a version of Michael the world rarely saw. Not the performer, not the icon, just the man. Isn't that what made this discovery so unforgettable? And then came the real surprises. Right in the center stood 3 vehicles, almost like they were waiting to be seen. Not just cars, but statements. Each one telling a different story. Each one revealing a different piece of who he was. But were they just machines, or was something more? The first was impossible to ignore. A 1999 Rolls-Royce Silver Seraph limousine. Elegant, smooth, But the real story was inside. The interior wasn't just luxurious, it was extraordinary. Gold accents, crystal details, inspired by the Palace of Versailles. It felt less like a car and more like a moving palace. Michael had designed it himself. Every inch reflected imagination. Not just wealth, but vision. But here's the real question. Was this about luxury or about creating a world of his own? Then came something quieter. A 1985 Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL. Not flashy, not extravagant, but deeply personal. This was his everyday car during a time when he drove himself between home and the studio. 40 miles a day, just him and his thoughts. Imagine that some of his greatest ideas may have started right there. Later, he gifted the car to his aunt. A simple gesture, but one filled with meaning. Doesn't that say more than any price tag ever could? And finally, the unexpected one. A 1954 Cadillac Fleetwood. Classic, timeless. But this car had a story beyond Michael. It was used in the film Driving Miss Daisy. Yes, the very same one. A piece of Hollywood history sitting quietly in his garage. It wasn't about speed or glamour. It was about storytelling, about connection. Why would a global superstar hold on to something like that?